These are the plants that I would recommend for a crested gecko habitat. First, let's start with the epiphytes, which basically means that plants that grow without soil. So, starting with the Hoya linearis subspecies Bella, which is attached to the branch using string, and there's some moss underneath it that helps it retain water. Under the bright light, it becomes paler and produces anthocyanins, like a reddish color, that is a type of sunscreen for the plants, but in lower light, it is a deep green color. Next is the Philodendron Heldracium Brazil, which is named after the variegation, which basically just means the different colors on the plant. The variegation looks a little bit like the Brazilian flag, but there is different amounts of the colors on each leaf, so it's really exciting when they come out. This is attached to the expanding foam using gardening wire and moss. The Syndaptus pictures has blister variegation, which is the small silver flecks, which is actually from air pockets underneath the surface. This works really well in low light situations. If you're wondering about the types of vocabulary I'm using in this video, I have a series on Instagram called #FantyVocab where I go over all of them. So these tentacle-looking things are actually adventitious aerial roots of the Phalaenopsis, which is a type of orchid. These roots not only absorb water and nutrients, but they also anchor the plant to the branch, and they also photosynthesize, which is super cool. The leaves are strong enough to support the crested geckos, and Coconut Dumpling absolutely loves sleeping on it. I find her there all the time. This funky looking plant is the Dupertia macayana, which is not only really beautiful, but folds and unfurls its leaves throughout the day, which adds a lot of variety to the habitat and enrichment for coconut dumpling. Also, the new leaves come in at this tiny little roll, which is the cutest thing. The flowers of the Anthurium and Aduranium come in a lot of different colors, but I chose this one because they match the backs of the Giprotia. This plant is constantly flowering for me, unlike the Spathiphyllum, which grows really well in the tank but doesn't really flower that much. So if you put it in your tank, it's mostly for the foliage, which basically means the leaves. And a highly recommended plant is the Dracenia trifasciata because it supports the weight of the geckos, and often they like to sleep within the leaf during the day. If you're considering putting real plants inside of your crested gecko's habitats, I cannot recommend it enough because it adds so much enrichment to their lives as the plants grow and change over time. I love coconut dumplings so much, and I'll do anything to make her healthy and happy, which is why